Well, hello. It's time for the June 2023 TBR game. So here's the situation. I've decided to change up the way that I do TBR games just for the summer months. I have been really inspired by Kaylani from Kaylani Simply Me and her TBR bingo. So all the credit for this idea goes to her. I will link her channel in the space below. Please just know that it's coming from a place of love and admiration. So I've created this bingo board that is behind me. I will be using a bingo roller to generate prompts. I'll be using a 20-sided dice to decide how many prompts I will do in the month of June. And most of the prompts, or a lot of them anyway, came from Kaylani herself, like took inspiration from her, like I said. And then others were ones that I got from other YouTubers or came up with on my own. So this is, I think, how we're gonna do this. We're gonna roll a dice to see how many rolls I have to do. Now, usually every month I try to pick 10 books. So I'm gonna, if I get a number less than 10, I will roll again until I get 10 or higher. I do have the 20-sided dice, so is there potential for getting more rolls? Yes. The other thing that could possibly add rolls is that every number that ends with a 5, like 5, 15, 25, and so on, has a little skull on it. And that means that I have to add another roll to my game. So theoretically, I could roll a 20 and then end up adding even more than that. That's kind of terrifying. But that's the way we're going to do it. Obviously, I can't fit 75 prompts on a bingo board. So we just have 5 in each column. And then the extra ones are in my handy dandy little box right here. What Kaylani does, and what I think I'm going to do as well, is if she gets a bingo on the ones that are on the board, then she either does a reward for herself or for her community. And I'm going to be playing this version of the game for June, July, and August, all 3 months of the summer. And I am hoping that I'll get a bingo. And what I will commit to now is that the first bingo I get will then become a reward for you guys, my viewers, my little bookish community. So let's keep our fingers crossed for a bingo, I guess, and let's go from there. So we need to start by rolling the dice. Okay, we're gonna roll on this shelf, and we got 3, so we have to roll again. 15. Camera didn't want to play nice to focus in on the dice, but I did get 15, so that means 15 rolls, 15 prompts, potentially more. Here's my bingo cage, and we'll roll. This could be a problem. All right, so I got 068, and it is on the board right up here. When I made the cards, I accidentally didn't format them super great, so some of them, the prompts are going to be covered up by a Velcro dot, but this one we'll be able to see all the words. An element on the cover. So for roll number 1, we got 068, which is an element on the cover, and I have something with fire on the cover, specifically fireworks. This is the True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. It did come in my Book of the Month box this month, and the synopsis tells us this. Felicity Fizzy Chin is lost. Sure, she's got an incredible career as a beloved romance novelist with a slew of bestsellers under her belt. But when she's asked to give a commencement address, it hits her. She hasn't been practicing what she's preached. Live your life like a romance novel. Fizzy hasn't ever really been in love. Lust, definitely, but the swoon-worthy can't stop thinking about him all-encompassing feelings she describes in her books? No. Never. Worse still, the optimism she spent her career encouraging in readers is starting to feel like a lie. Connor Prince, documentary filmmaker and single father, loves his work because it allows him to live near his daughter. But when his profit-minded boss orders him to create a reality TV show, Connor is out of his element and concerned for his professional reputation. Desperate to find a hook that will set his project apart from the myriad of dating shows already on the air, he finds the perfect solution after an encounter with his ex-wife's favorite author. What if he could show the queen of romance herself falling head over heels for all the world to see? Fizzy quickly picks up on his disdain for her genre and gives him a hard pass unless he agrees to cast the contestants according to her list of demands. To her surprise, he accepts her intentionally impossible terms. She decides to take it as an opportunity to rediscover the joy they've both been missing, and it inadvertently proves to him that there's more to crafting a love story than meets the eye. Starring in Connor's show is Fizzy's chance to finally step into the role of romance heroine, but when lights come up and all eyes are on her, it turns out her happily ever after might just lie behind the camera. And if you don't know, Christina Lauren is the pen name of two ladies who write together, Christina, what's her last name, Hobbs, and Lauren Billings. And they've written 29 books. I haven't actually read any of theirs, so this will be my first Christina Lauren book, and I'm excited about it. So I now have a black and white version of 068 to take the place on the board, just so that we know that that one has been used. Here is roll number 2. Oh! Why does it do this? Okay, so I got G60. G60 is not on the board, so we'll have to find the card in here. And G60 is a standalone. Roll number 2 is G60, a standalone, and I'll be going with a middle grade for this one. This is Hummingbird by Natalie Lloyd. This is about a young girl who is wheelchair bound. Her name is Olive. This tells us, homeschooled Olive is tired of being seen as fragile just because she has osteogenesis imperfecta, otherwise known as brittle bone disease. So she's thrilled when she convinces her overprotective parents to let her attend traditional school, until a disastrous first day dashes her hope of ever fitting in or making the friends she's always longed for. Then Olive hears whispers about a magical wish-granting hummingbird. If she can find the bird, the creature will make her most desperate secret wish come true. But on the way, Olive just might learn that all of our fragile places can lead to the most wonderful magic of all. I saw a really cute video with the author speaking about this book, and I got a little bit distracted because she has bookshelves behind her that have the library ladder poles on them, and so I was like, where is her library ladder? Like, I was leaning around as if I could possibly see behind her. Like, where is it? I want to see it. Roll 3. Aha, I didn't drop it. Now I have B3. I know that my camera isn't like focusing on me at all times during this. I decided to try this with the big camera. It's gonna be a fight, I know that, but we're just gonna have to go with it. So B3 is another one that's not on the board, and it is a spicy book. For roll number 3, we got B3, a spicy book. I am going to go with Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. I've been told that this is spicy. I haven't read anything else by this author, but from what I've heard, it's got spicy elements to it. And the synopsis says, like an avenging purple-haired Jedi bringing balance to the mansplained universe, B. Königswasser lives by a simple code. What would Marie Curie do? If NASA offered Marie her dream neuroengineering project, she would accept without hesitation, duh. But the mother of modern physics never had to co-lead with Levi Ward. Sure, Levi has soul-piercing eyes, and sure, he caught her in his powerfully corded arms like a romance novel hero when she accidentally damseled in distress on her first day at the lab. But Levi made his feelings toward B clear in grad school. Arch-enemies work best when employed in their own galaxies far, far away. Now her equipment is missing, the staff ignores her, and B finds her floundering career in somewhat of a pickle. Perhaps it's her occipital cortex playing tricks on her, but B could swear she can see Levi softening into an ally, backing her plays, devouring her with those eyes, and the possibilities have all her neurons firing. But when it comes time to actually make a move and put her heart on the line, there's only one question that matters. What will B. Königswasser do? Roll number 4. So we've got B2, another one that's not on the board. Let's find the card. B2 is a new to me author. Rule number 4 got us B2, a new to me author, and I actually have an ARC that I need to read pretty soon. I won a Goodreads giveaway and got Fly With Me by Andy Burke. This won't come out till September 5th of this year. It is a queer adult romance. It says, flying phobic ER nurse Olive Murphy is still gripping the armrest from her first ever takeoff when the pilot announces an in-flight medical emergency. Olive leaps into action and saves a life, but ends up getting stuck in the airport hours away from her destination. Luckily for her, Stella Soriano, the stunning Type A co-pilot, offers to give her a ride. After the two spend a magical day together, Stella makes a surprising request. Will Olive be her fake girlfriend? A video of Olive saving a life has gone viral and started generating big sales for Stella's airline. Stella sees their union as a perfect opportunity to get to the boys club executives at her company who keep overlooking her for a long-deserved promotion. Realizing this arrangement can help her too, Olive dives into memorizing Stella's comically comprehensive guide to fake dating. As the two grow closer, what was supposed to be a ruse feels more and more real. Could this be the romantic ride of their lives or an epic crash and burn? Rule number 5. It spit out, but I caught it. G55. So we have another one that's on the board. I just pulled it from right here. And what have we got? A skull, which means another spin, and a spooky read. Roll 5 gave us G55, which means an extra spin, and it also is a spooky read. So I'm going with The Writing Retreat. This was another book of the month purchase from quite a while ago, actually. This one says, Alex has all been given up on her dreams of becoming a published author when she receives a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Attend an exclusive month-long writing retreat at the estate of feminist horror writer Rosa Vallow. Even the knowledge that Ren, her former best friend and current rival, is attending doesn't dampen her excitement. But when the attendees arrive, Rosa drops a bombshell. They must all complete an entire novel from scratch during the next month, and the author of the best one will receive a life-changing 7-figure publishing deal. Determined to win the seemingly impossible contest, Alex buckles down and tries to ignore the strange happenings at the estate, including Rosa's erratic behavior, Ren's cruel mind games, and the alleged haunting of the mansion itself. But when one of the writers vanishes during a snowstorm, Alex realizes that something very sinister is afoot. With the clock running out, she must discover the truth or suffer the same fate. Now, this does say that it's a bit of a claustrophobic thriller. That makes me a little bit nervous, but also just having that little warning is helpful. So of course that means we're going to be doing 16 rolls, and we are on number 6. I can tell it's going to be another B because of the color. So we got B10, which is also not on the board. TBR game. So roll 6 gave us B10 TBR game. Essentially what I have to do is borrow or adapt a TBR game from someone else. Kind of like what I'm doing for this entire video. But I can also pick someone else's TBR game to play with. And I think I'm going to use Gavin's Play Your TBR Right. So give me a moment to set up for that, and I will be right back with you. I've got my fancy deck of cards from Fairy Loot, and I'm going to go ahead and set up 5 cards here. Basically what I have to do is, after turning over the first card, I have to guess if the next one is higher or lower, and continue through the deck until I either make it to the end or lose. If I make it to the end, I get to read a book that's higher up on my priority list, which is going to be Skandar and the Phantom Rider by A.F. Stedman. And if I lose, then I have to read a book that's a little bit lower on my priority list, and I'm going to choose Drop Dead Gorgeous by R.L. Stine. So we'll start with flipping the first card. It is an Ace of Diamonds. Now this is lucky because I'm going to follow Gavin's rules, and he says it's both the highest and the lowest card, so really I can't go wrong. So I'll say higher than an ace, and we got a king. Okay, so now I'm going to say lower than a king. That's also very handy for me. And then we got an ace again. Wow, beginner's luck, I think. Higher than an ace. A 2. Okay, so the only way that I can lose is if this card is an ace, because I'm going to say higher than a 2. A 3. How did that happen? I must have not shuffled very well, because we literally went Ace of Hearts, 2 of Hearts, 3 of Hearts. Oops. Oh well, we're going with it. So that means I get to read Skandar and the Phantom Rider. This is the sequel to Skandar and the Unicorn Thief by A.F. Stedman. It is a wonderful middle grade book, and I'm really excited to read the second one. Because this is a sequel and I don't want to spoil things, I'll tell you a little bit about the first one. In the first one, we meet Skandar, who always has wanted to become a unicorn rider, and the day comes when he's supposed to take the test for it, and they turn him away. And they say you can't compete for this, and he finds out that his father is partially to blame for his not being able to compete. But he finds a way to sneak to the island where the unicorns are, and chaos and competition and magical things ensue. Great battle scenes. Yeah, really enjoyed it, so I'm super excited to get to read the sequel. Okay, we're gonna go for roll number 7. Okay, so the ball dropped, bounced up off the floor and onto a bookshelf. And we got 062, not on the board. Let's go find the card. All right, so this one is cover matches outfit. Roll number 7 gave us 062, cover matches your outfit. I have a gray shirt on today, and the pants that I have are just kind of loungy pants, but they're mostly, like, they're kind of a weird, crazy print, but it's a lot of blues and oranges. So I looked for something that had gray with, like, either blue or orange or both, and this is what I found. We have the Luminaries by Susan Dennard. It's got a lot of gray and silver, which I think is kind of grayish, and some blue with these florals and things here. So it also has really pretty blue sprayed edges because it is a Owl Crate exclusive edition. Winnie Wednesday wants nothing more than to join the Luminaries, the ancient order that protects Winnie's town and the rest of humanity from the monsters and nightmares that arise in the forest of Hemlock Falls every night. Ever since her father was exposed as a witch and a traitor, Winnie and her family have been shunned, but on her 16th birthday she can take the deadly luminary hunter trials and prove herself true and loyal and restore her family's good name or die trying. But in order to survive, Winnie enlists the help of the one person who can train her, Jay Friday, resident bad boy and Winnie's ex-best friend. While Jay might be the most promising new hunter in Hemlock Falls, he also seems to know more about the nightmares of the forest than he should. Together, he and Winnie will discover a danger lurking in the forest no one in Hemlock Falls is prepared for. Not all monsters can be slain, and not all nightmares are confined to the dark. Whoa, sorry, I went out of focus there while I was reading. I am so sorry. I am determined to keep using this camera because it was so dang expensive. But yeah, it's sometimes annoying. Roll number 8. Aha, I caught it. So we got I-28. I-28 is a 5-star prediction. Roll number 8 got us I-28, a 5-star prediction, and for this one I'm going to go with Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. You might recognize this from the Owl Crate box for the month of May for this year. It is something that I've just been thinking about since I opened that box, and I really think that I'm going to love it. So this says, after centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again, but 18-year-old Iris Winnow just wants to hold her family together. Her mother is suffering from addiction and her brother is missing from the front lines. Her best bet is to win the columnist promotion at the Oath Gazette. To combat her worries, Iris writes letters to her brother and slips them beneath her wardrobe door where they vanish, into the hands of Roman Kit, her cold and handsome rival at the paper. When he anonymously writes Iris back, the two of them forge a connection that will follow Iris all the way to the front lines of battle for her brother and the fate of mankind, and love. Oh gosh, I went out of focus again. I am so sorry. Annoying, I know. Roll number 9. Oh, that was fast. I just spit right out. G47. Oh, and look at this, look at this. G47 is right down here. So G47 is school challenge prompt. Roll number 9 is G47, a school challenge prompt. I always have school reading challenges going on even through the summer. I've created a summer reading challenge for my students, and I've made a version available for you guys. I'll link that video announcement in the space below if you're interested. The theme is summer camp, and I am going to choose one of the prompts, which is visiting the stables, and for that you have to pick a book with an animal on the cover, and I'm going to go with a middle grade, Theo Tan and the Fox Spirit by Jesse Q. Sutanto. Theo Tan doesn't want a spirit companion. He just wants to be a normal American kid playing video games, going to conventions, and using surf pendants to cast his spells like everyone else. But when his older brother dies, Theo ends up inheriting Jamie's fox spirit, Kai. Kai isn't happy about this either. Theo is nothing like Jamie, and the two of them have never gotten along. Then they realize the mysterious journal Jamie left Theo is filled with clues and secret codes, and it becomes clear that something strange was going on with Jamie's internship at Riebling Corp. It turns out the only way onto the campus is the highly competitive Know Your Roots summer camp program, a celebration of Chinese and Indian cultures designed to help connect students with their heritage. Theo and Kai will have to put aside their differences long enough to honor Jamie's last wishes, or the mystery he died for will remain unsolved forever. So we have a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of mystery, perhaps even a little bit of dystopian if there's like corruption at this place, and there we go. Roll number 10. I-30. I was just a no one, only yesterday. You showed up and showed me something more. I-30 is a random word generator. Roll number 10 gave us I-30, a random word generator. And I'm going to do a little screen recording on my iPad. I found a random word generator website, and we'll see what we come up with. Okay, so our random word generator got us abnormal. I don't have any books with abnormal in the title, but I do have a book that just screams abnormal to me. It is the Octonumi. This is the prologue. There's 2 Octonumi books. There's the prologue and then book 1. This is abnormal in a variety of ways. It's abnormally gorgeous just to look at. It has abnormally printed pages because we've got this border all around them. It comes in a black box with other stuff. You can only order it from the Octonumi website. Like, there's just lots of things about this book that are not typical or abnormal, I guess you could say. The Octonumi does not exist. Fospit and any files relating to a Fospit do not exist. The Tarolan peoples that protect and provide sanctuary for the Avitans of Fethrest are not real. The abilities of the Tarolan peoples with their heightened skills living in their utopian world are a myth, and their purpose here mere tales, rumors of their reincarnations enabling them to live many lives. Ridiculous. And there's definitely no magic, none at all. No, really, there isn't. Magic is not a thing. There are also no hidden worlds or mythical beings coexisting just out of sight. Equally, there are no secret access points to these hidden worlds that don't exist, and there's no unfinished business from the past that is set to destroy, well, anything. There is no disaster looming. Anyway, regardless of any potential threat that may or may not be present, this publication, the Octonumi, and any reference to any of their beings is a work of fiction. And for the record, Scariodints, should they exist, are perfectly lovely beings whose purpose in life is grossly misunderstood. Well, there you go. Now we know what this book is about. Roll 11. It just spat a yellow ball and it was shooting that way. We got N32. N32 says What's on Libby, which is my audiobook app. Roll 11 got us N32, What's on Libby, and as I said, that's my audiobook app that I use through the Wyoming State Library. And I actually found on Libby this book here, 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. This is a recent purchase for me, and we'll read the little blurb. Red Kenny is on a road trip for spring break with 5 friends, her best friend and her older brother, his perfect girlfriend, a friend from school, and the guy Red wishes was more than a friend, but they won't make it to their destination. When their RV breaks down in the middle of nowhere with no cell service, they soon realize this is no accident. They have been trapped by someone out there in the dark, someone who clearly wants them dead. With 8 hours until dawn, the 6 friends must escape or figure out which of them is the target. But is there a liar among them? Buried secrets will be forced to light, and tensions inside the RV will reach deadly levels. Not all of them will survive the night. From the author of the New York Times and multi-million copy best-selling A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series comes a new, unforgettable thrill ride. Roll number 12. 066. 066 is shelf/book number generator. More randomness. All right, roll number 12 got us 066 shelf/book number generator. I will insert your screen recordings. I'll be using a random number generator. I'm gonna do a number between 1 and 17, and I always like to hit that randomized 3 times, just something I do. Probably got that from Kaylani also, because she does the same thing. And then I'll do a number from 1 to 22 to pick the book on that shelf. So let's give this a go. So we got shelf number 1, and then we're gonna roll, like I said, randomized from 1 to 22. And I know that there's not as many books on shelf number 1, so I'll just have to like loop through again on that shelf if I get a high number. We got 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, so we got The Damned by Renee Ahdieh, which is a sequel to The Beautiful. And it is a vampire series set in New Orleans. And that's all I remember about the first one. So that's all I'm going to tell you today. Sorry. Roll number 13. So we have N45. N45 is a book you bought secondhand, and we have the skull, which means yet another roll. Okay, so roll number 13, N45, which gives us yet another roll. A book you bought secondhand. So we have Wyoming Brides by Debbie Meg Homer. This is a secondhand purchase. I got it for 25 cents at a secondhand store called Bargains on Broadway. And you'll be seeing that in a vlog that was filmed last weekend, but won't come out for a little while till after this video, I think. I still am not sure when it's coming out. You know what Doctor Who says about time? It's all just wibbly wobbly timey wimey. So this is a bind up of 2 novels. It is Denim and Diamonds is the first one, about a rancher named Chase Brown, who's always loved Letty Ellison. But she left their small Wyoming town searching for a different kind of life, and now she's come back home with her dreams kind of shattered. She has a 5-year-old and she's single. But she had been in Hollywood, so is she ready to trade all of that for this small Wyoming town? I live in a small Wyoming town. It is not anything like Hollywood, so it would be an adjustment for her. And of course, Chase wants her, would she be able to accept a full-time, forever life in this town? The second book follows Lonnie Ellison, which is Letty's brother, and he is an ex-rodeo cowboy. He's used to having women kind of fall all over him, but that's not something he gets from Joy Fuller. They argue constantly, and his sister's like, I know that's because you're interested in her. You guys, have the hots for each other. And he's like, well, maybe. But he's got to woo this lady first and convince her that he's not hateful like she seems to think he is. Roll 14. And 35. Oh! 2 skulls in a row. At least this one's a short book. The next roll got us N35, another extra roll, and a short book, thank goodness. So we're going to go with Insta Boyfriend by Jen Atkinson. This is another one that you'll see in that vlog, along with 5 Survive, which we mentioned earlier. So we're just picking up a lot of recent purchases, because we are, I don't know. So this one does have a fake dating trope. Iris's cousin is about to marry her ex, and Iris just kind of says that she has a boyfriend, just kind of makes it up in that moment, but she doesn't. There's this guy, Dean Cooper, that she doesn't really remember, but he remembers her, and she helped him make 10th grade survivable, and he just remembers just really having feelings for her, so he's like, I'm here for you, I'm your boyfriend, let's make this work. And he is a social media influencer, so he has all kinds of ideas about making their relationship believable. So will it turn into real feelings, or will they just go their separate ways? Roll 15. O74. O74 is sci-fi, dystopian, or steampunk. Roll 15 is sci-fi, dystopian, or steampunk. O74. And we're going to go with Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. This is book 2 in the Red Rising series. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel because my camera is having some issues and I'm tired, and we still have 3 more books to get through. But this is book 2. I am rereading it so that I can read the 3rd book and remember what's happening in the series. Roll 16. I-22. I-22 is right here on the board. Oh, fetch. It's a big book. Roll 16 is I-22, a big book, and I chose Bloodmarked by Tracy Dion. This is another sequel. The first book is Legendborn. It involves Arthurian legend, kind of a pre-college summer program, secret societies, and magic. and it was wonderful. So I'm really excited to get to the sequel. Rule 17. O63. O63 is randomize your TBR. Rule 17 is randomize your TBR, and we're going to be getting back on the iPad to do that. I am going to randomize my want to read list on Goodreads and then choose a random number picker to help me decide what book I'm going to be reading next. So randomized TBR gave me These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. This is a chonker. Bree would do anything before making a deal with Faye. Death is preferable to their vicious schemes. But when her sister is taken by the sadistic king of the Unseelie court, there is nothing Bree wouldn't do to get her back, including making a deal with the king himself to steal 3 magical relics from the rival Seelie court. Gaining unfettered access to the Seelie court is easier said than done. Bree's only choice is to pose as a potential bride for Prince Ronan, the Seelie prince, who's not quite as wicked as she once thought. Unwilling to let her heart distract her, she accepts the help from a band of Unseelie misfits with their own secret agenda. Sorry, I'm getting blurred out again. But as Bree spends time with her mysterious leader Finn, she finds herself struggling to resist his seductive charm. Caught between 2 dangerous courts, Bree must decide who to trust with her loyalty and with her heart. Okay, roll 18, which should be our last. And 42. This is also on the board. So we won't be getting a bingo this time around, but we're nicely set up to potentially work towards a bingo in the next round. And 42 is free pick. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but we made it to the last roll, number 18. We got N42, a free pick, and I'm going to go with Morning Star, which is the 3rd book in the Red Rising series. Again, by Pierce Brown. The whole series, I'm not going to say a whole lot about it, but it follows a young man whose wife is brutally killed in the first book, and they're living on Mars in underground mines, and a whole lot of craziness and violence and fighting and strange things happen, and there's fantastic characters, and I'm ready to punch my camera in the face. I don't care how fancy and expensive it is. I'm freaking sick of it. I'd say I've got my work cut out for me with this amount of reading this in June. It might kill me, and I might say I'm never doing this game again. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, have a wonderful, magical, and bookish day. Happy reading. Adios.